Welcome to Small Talk with Raincraft. I'm Subha, a leadership and executive coach.
And I'm Hasita. I'm a marketing strategist.
We're just two people who love to talk
and love to learn.
And this is us being curious about the world around us.
Join us.
When was the last time you did just one thing? I don't think I know how to do that. Let's see, on my evening walk, I listen to books and podcasts. When I'm on a call with Bluetooth headphones, I usually catch up on email too. Even when I water my plants, I'm probably speaking to a friend on the phone. And it's showing. It's showing in my attention span to things, my ability to read books for an extended period. And I think even my memory, sometimes someone's just told me where they work or what they do, and I've forgotten.
Subha, you are literally vocalizing my own lived experience. I have jumped from one call to the other in a way that the second call has already started and the first one's not over yet, and I'm logged in from two different devices. I take months to finish books now. Previously, it would be hours. And even when I'm waiting for someone to call or I'm waiting at a coffee shop, my immediate instinct is to just scroll Instagram for absolutely no good reason, just to kill time.
That's there. I don't know how to wait. That's another thing I don't know how to do.
Yeah, really makes you think a little bit more about what's going on in a way. So Subha, I'm very curious to know what sparked this thought for you at this particular point in time.
Actually, two things. And, it's probably the universe trying to tell me something. I came across one book recommendation, Oliver Burkeman's 4,000 Weeks. Now, I managed to read through that book. It's actually quite breezy and it's not very tedious. But what my takeaway was the title more than anything else.
Yeah, 4,000 weeks is basically the average human lifespan, assuming you live to 80.
Correct. And I've crossed the halfway mark. So I have less than 2,000 weeks left. And my first thought was I have less than 2,000 weekends left. So I want to be focusing on things that really matter to me.
Yeah.
Right. And the things that I do spend my time on or I'm required to because of work or what else, I should take away more from it. Right. So that's one thing that got me thinking. And then, I was pointed towards another podcast. It's a regular one by one Dr. Rangan Chatterjee called Feel Better, Live More. But this is the first episode that I picked up by Johan Hari, whose new book, Stolen Focus, is out. So he's talking about, how to reclaim your attention. And there's another interesting thread or why it's called Stolen Focus, which I'll come to later. But that also got me thinking. He starts with saying that the studies in the US show that for an average teenager, the ability to focus on one task lasts about 65 seconds, right? And you say, oh, teenager.
Okay, that's not a lot.
Yeah, teenager jumping from this and that. Turns out for an office worker, it's only 3 minutes.
Oops, that's not a lot either.
Exactly. So I think focus is something that needs a lot of focus now.
Yeah. But then, do we not live in a world that almost glorifies, I would say deifies multitasking? How many people, including ourselves, I know for a fact that somewhere deep down, I do pride myself on this ability to multitask. And even the systems are designed that way. Like, let me actually ask you this question, Subha. Say I'm in the middle of something and I've decided to focus and, I'm all gung-ho about it. And then a client calls. Do I pick up or do I not? Right? And then a client calls twice. Do I pick up or do I not? So in a way, my systems, my environments themselves are oriented towards multitasking. So where is focus then?
So true. I used to think this was my superpower, multitasking. And I'm sure some version of a resume somewhere will have this as a special skill, bold and underlined.
Ardent multitasker.
Yes. Right. So you're right. You're in the middle of something and there is something else that is, I don't know, maybe that's why that's trying to steal your attention. But yes, it is a client call. And like you said, you answer it and then that takes you to some other piece of work because of what the client has said or what you need to do because of that. So it's just not as simple as saying, don't do that. Don't pick up the call.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do then in a way, right? I mean, I know I'm not supposed to pick up the call, but hey, I have to, right? So this is where I find a lot of conversations around focus and a lot of techniques around focus a little lacking, I would say, in the sense that they are not very helpful. And if they are very helpful and radical, they're not something I can get consistent with.
No, very true. I think we both have kind of talked about and written about a lot of things, or a lot of folks who do suggest ways and means to get more work done. It's always been from the angle of getting more work done.
Yeah.
Right? How to be more productive. And I think we need to take a step back and first understand, why is this important, right? Focus is not just from, hey, let me kind of squeeze 10 hours of work into 4 hours and, feel a lot better about myself. I think we have to understand first that this is leading to something, and this is leading to changes in our brains and in our bodies, right? Very fundamental changes. And we're passing this on to the next generation and the next, definitely, right?
Yeah, you're kind of getting somewhere with this, in the sense that outside of focus for the purpose of being productive, or focus for the purpose of doing even more, which seems to be the narrative anyway, not being able to focus on something is one of the most fundamentally unfulfilling experiences I've personally had. Like on the days when I cannot focus, it's a very draining day for me, right? And I'd like to believe that that's true for a lot of us, because our brains, I feel like they were built to handle one thing at a time.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's also like, why are we doing this? We get onto the phone when we are even riding the elevator because you think you're missing out on something, some notification, something happening in the world, super important, or something so super trivial happening in the world that you still want to know about it and be a part of it. And all that is doing is guaranteeing that you are missing out on what's actually happening to you in that moment. You're missing out on that elevator ride and that 30 seconds of really nice, maybe Kenny G music, right? But you've not experienced it. If you ask me what's playing in the elevator in my office building, I have no clue because I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And like you said, this is creating very fundamental changes in us, right? What Johan Hari goes on to say is that when you don't give something focus and attention, when everything is in a state of agitation or a state of anxiety or a state of, what next, what more can I do, what am I missing out, what am I not doing, he says it leads to very either simplistic solutions because that much of brain power is not put into it, or it leads to very angry solutions, very heat of the moment, very kind of knee-jerk reactions to things, right? Because fundamentally, kindness and empathy are forms of behavior that need deep attention, that you need to kind of really be involved in what's happening.
It's so interesting you say that, Subha, because yesterday I was at a clinic for a certain appointment, and the person who was helping me out over there, he suddenly picked up a conversation about my tattoos. And initially I was a little conscious because usually strangers don't come up to other people and ask them about their tattoos. But then it was so easy to see. And because in that moment I was not on the phone, I was there for a very specific reason. Within 2 minutes, it was very easy to see that this person is just trying to have a conversation. And I think me in any other circumstance would probably have brushed him off, would probably have been even a little rude. But just knowing that the conversation was not about the tattoos at all, the conversation was just one person trying to be seen, that was a revelation to me. And I feel like by focusing that kind of energy and attention on the things that we love on a daily basis, and work is a big part of that for all of us, I just wonder what magic we can create.
No, so true. It's apparently there are two kinds of focus that can help us, right? One is what is called spotlight focus, where you are really into the task that you're doing, you are able to shut everything out. Like while right now we're looking at each other and recording this, my spotlight should be on you. I should be listening to what you say, and then I should be reacting, responding, etc. Right? The other kind is when you don't focus on anything, right? When you let your mind wander, when you let it figure out what thoughts it wants to settle on, and then kind of some thoughts will go deeper, some will stay light, and then you just let it wander and meander. What we seem to be doing is neither of these, and we are just switching, We keep switching from one task to the other, telling ourselves that that quick glance at the phone or that quick check of WhatsApp or email inbox is not really doing anything. I'm just staying on top of things. I'm just making sure my day is under control. I'm actually getting a lot done. But it's not so. It's impacting memory, it's impacting attention spans, and it's really impacting the quality of work that we do. Because when you keep switching and you are doing multiple things, the error rates are higher too.
But then at the same time, fidgeting has almost become a habit in a way. And honestly, I'm just tired of solutions that say, put your phone away. We now have apps that kind of you can set upper limits on how many times during the day you can actually pick up the phone. And every time you kind of go beyond that, you just feel guilty. So in a way, it's like I'm being guilted into focusing, which I don't feel like it's a very sustainable solution, because not all of us can put our phones away.
No, I can't. I admit I'll freak out if I have to put my phone in another room for like 3-4 hours, especially when the kids are at school and some family members traveling, etc. I mean, the phone has a basic function. It's supposed to ring when someone wants to tell you something important. Right? So I don't get actually a couple of the solutions that he talks about or that he implements are, he's got a safe where, if you put the phone in, it's called a case safe apparently. You put the phone in and you set the timer for 2 hours. Unless you break the thing, you can't take it out.
Oh, damn. That sounds extreme.
So he uses that. And then he says, when I go to office, I leave the phone at work. And I'm thinking like, who's going to do all the main gate entry approvals? Who's going to let the Amazon guy in? Who's going to take the call from school saying that your child needs attention? So many things, right? Forget about just work. There's life which is now tied to technology. I used to admire people who could do this, who would say, I put my phone away for 6 hours and that's why I didn't see your message. Now, I don't know, that admiration is kind of gone because I can't do anything about it. I can't be that person.
Yeah. So, but then what we can do is probably, and I was just thinking, like when you said 3 hours of setting the phone aside, I kind of asked myself a very rhetorical question almost, like, when was the last time I did that? And in fact came the answer when I was watching a movie. So I guess more movies then.
Yeah. No, that really points to what we can actually do, because it's about doing something you like and using it to really like kind of learn back this skill of focusing, right? We've gone through the Pomodoros and the Cal Newport's time block planning, etc. Okay, cool. I've blocked the 2 hours or the 90 minutes. Now what do I do? Because I don't know how to do one thing for 90 minutes.
Yeah. Because I don't even know how to wander for 90 minutes. So it's completely out of the question.
Exactly. So what I liked in terms of what we can practically do, because I think it's not just about kind of doing really important, great things with focus. It's first about training that muscle again and learning how to focus again. And then we get to, okay, am I being productive? Am I being super useful to this world, etc., etc.?
Yeah, first let me at least free up that time. Then we'll figure out what to do with it.
Exactly. The thing that stayed with me as a concept is getting into the flow, right? We all have certain tasks, activities, things we like to do, which we don't realize that, I'm doing this and it's been 2 hours, right? I remember when I first started Raincraft, there was a lot of work to be done, setting up the website, putting up the first few blogs, and a lot of it was DIY. I taught myself how to do this and that on WordPress and tinker with the settings, etc. And that was a flow thing for me. I would start tinkering, and before I knew it, it'd be an hour or two, and I would have learned a lot of stuff, but I would have really been in the zone. I wouldn't have felt the need to check email or check my phone, etc. So we all have certain tasks which get us into the flow. It could be cooking. For me, gardening now, because I do a little more of it, I don't realize how the time goes.
Yeah, makes sense.
So the first thing they suggest is to choose one thing, right? And remember, here we're just trying to build that kind of focus muscle. We're not trying to save the world. So choose that one thing and then let it be something that you like, something that you generally enjoy doing. You're not, for example,
learning how to salsa is probably a little later, like it can come.
anything that involves my two left feet, there isn't much focus or flow.
It's probably out of the question.
I'll be tripping and falling, so there's no flow happening there. But yeah, choose the one thing you love. And the interesting bit was that we might think, okay, choose that thing that comes easily to you, that's so natural, that's kind of, you can do it in your sleep. But no, choose it one level up, right? Make it like a slightly stretch task or assignment where you do have to put in that little bit of extra effort, where you do have to concentrate or pick up a skill or figure it out or think it through, go deep a little. That pushes you into the flow. The combination of just choosing one thing that you like, and then making it a slightly stretch assignment for yourself will take you into flow.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And that little bit is up to each of us, right?
Absolutely. So that's great. And also, I feel like maybe none of these have to be new things that we've not tried before, or it doesn't necessarily have to be me going crazy with the watercolors, which I've never touched before in my life. Because also, social media tells us that there's a certain list of activities that are more mindful than the others. But so is my daily walk, so is my meditation routine, so is my cooking, like you said earlier. So all of these things, in a way, just leveling that up a little bit sounds like a much lower stretch goal kind of to place on myself than to sort of go out and conquer the world and how can I turn my 10 hours into 20. So that's actually very, very useful. And I will probably start by cooking.
Oh, that's nice. Then I'll get to taste something delicious soon.
For sure.
But yeah, I think you hit the nail. It's about doing things which will help you slow down. So it's not like the yoga or the meditation. Yes, those 60 minutes are relatively slower than most other things we do. But that slowness helps our mind and body, again, work the muscle that allows you to pay attention to things, allows you to slow it down and pay attention and not be in a state of high anxiety all the time that, what am I missing out? What else can I do? What else can I squeeze in?
In a way, that reward system has to be replaced. Yeah,
very true. Let's give it a shot and see how much we can, really work that focus muscle over the next few weeks and months, and maybe come back and tell our small talkers how we fared.
Yeah. Maybe even write a journal about it. Why not?
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Bye. Catch you later.
Thank you for listening till the very end. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you'd like to leave us a note about the episode, please do write in at connect@raincraft.in or drop us a voice message at speakpipe.com/raincraft. All the details about our guest today and how you can find us on social media are available in the show notes. So please do have a read and catch you next time.